of DAV Senior Secondary School, Boys Mogappair, are here to present the satsang. We are very delighted to have been given this opportunity to present the first satsang of this academic year. We are here to highlight a few values, the most sacred and holy scripture, the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. The values of Gita are immensely beneficial, not only for students, but for all those who wish to see a better version of themselves. The values of Gita are relevant at all times, at all places, to people all over the world. Now, let us all seek the Almighty's blessings and proceed with the event.
Namaste. Chapter 3, Karma Yoga, verse 8. Niyatam kuru karma tvam karmajyayo karmanaha sharirayatra pichate na prasidhyeda karmanaha. The shloka says, you should perform your Vedic duties since your action is superior to your inaction. By ceasing activity, your bodily maintenance will not be possible. The main takeaway from the shloka is prioritize your work. Thank you.
Namaste. Chapter 2, Sankhya Yoga, verse 47. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalahetubhu ma te sangostva karmani. The meaning of this shloka is in accordance with what was said earlier by Vikas. The meaning of this shloka is we are entitled to perform our duties, but not entitled to the fruits of our actions. We must never consider ourselves to be the results or to be the cause of the results of our actions, nor stay in inaction. The Vedic values that we must instill in our daily lives from this shloka is focus on doing our best. Focus only on the efforts, not on the results. Thank you.
Namaste. Chapter 2, Sankhya Yoga, verse 48. Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. The meaning of this shloka is to be steadfast in your actions, abandoning attachment in both success and failures. Such equanimity is called yoga. This shloka encourages us to focus on the present moment while cultivating equanimity in both success and failures. Thank you.
Namaste. Namaste. Chapter 2, Sankhya Yoga, Sloka 56. Dukkeshvano vignamanaha sukeshu vigataspruhaha Vitaraga Vayakroda Sthidatir Muniruchyate. One who is not disturbed in mind in the threefold of miseries or elated due to happiness and is free from the chains of attachment, fear and anger is a sage of steady mind. The value we can imbibe from this shloka is that stability of mind leads to stability of person. Thank you.
Namaste. Chapter 6, Dhyana Yoga, Shloka 5. Uddharetatmanatmanam atmanam avasadhayet atmaiva hyatmano bandhuhu atmaiva ripuratmanah. Elevate yourself through the power of your mind and not degrade yourself, as the mind is the friend and enemy of the self. This shloka emphasizes the importance of self-control. Thank you.
Namaste. Chapter 3, Karma Yoga, Sloka 35. Shreyan Swadharmo Vigunaha Paradharma Swadostita Swadharme Nidanam Shreyaha Paradharmo Bhayavaha. The sloka says it is better to strive to fulfill one's duty even imperfectly than to do someone else's duty perfectly. Doing someone else's duty is dangerous and fearful. The sloka emphasizes the importance of doing one's own duty, that is Swadharma. Thank you.
Namaste. Chapter 6, verse 30, Dhyana Yoga. Om Saham Kaya Shiro Grivam Dharayan Nachalam Sthiraha प्रेक्ष्य नासिकाग्रं स्वं दिशश्चानवलोकयन्. The meaning of this sloka is holding the body, head, neck in a straight line, steady and still, fixing the gaze at the tip of the nose without looking anywhere. The sloka emphasizes one should always have a steady mind.
Namaste. Chapter 2, Sankhya Yoga, verse 55. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan parthamanogataan atmanyevatmana tushtaha sthitas pranyastadochyate. This sloka says that when one gives up all desires of the mind and becomes satisfied in the self by the self, then one is said to be a person of steady wisdom. This sloka emphasizes the importance of letting go of desires. By embracing these principles, one can achieve steady wisdom. Thank you.
Namaste. Chapter 2, Sankhya Yoga, verse 71. Vihaya kamanya sarvan pumamshcharati nisprihah nirmamo niyahankarah sashantim hadhigacchati. One who has let go of desires and has freed himself from longings. One who has let ego and embarrassment not take over him has attained peace. This verse emphasizes that we should let go of desires, become free from attachment and ego, so that we could attain ultimate peace. Thank you.
We sincerely hope that all of us had valuable insights to take away from the About Talk show. We hope that these values stick to our heart till we part with life and inculcate them in our daily lives. Thank you. Now, let us listen to a melodious version of Jai Jagdish Hare, Tamil translation, translated by Sri Guru Prasad sir.
அடைக்கலம் நீரே சுவாமி அடைக்கலம்
சுவாமி உன்னருள் வேண்டுகிறே. ஓம் பிரபஞ்சத்தின் அதிபதியே. நீரே பூரணமானவர், எங்குமே வியாபித்திருப்பவரே, எங்குமே வியாபித்திருப்பவரே. நீரே உயர்ந்த கடவுள், நீரே உயர்ந்த கடவுள், அனைவருக்கும் அருளிடுவார். ஓம் பிரபஞ்சத்தின் அதிபதியே. கருணை கடலும் நீரே, உலகினில் அனைத்தையும் வளர்ப்பவரே, உலகினில் அனைத்தையும் வளர்ப்பவரே. மாயையில் உழல்பவன் நானே, மாயையில் உழல்பவன் நானே, மாயைகள் நீக்கிடுவார். ஓம் பிரபஞ்சத்தின் அதிபதியே. இறைவன் பற்பல உயிர்களில் உள்ளிருப்பார், பற்பல உயிர்களில் உள்ளிருப்பார். எவ்விடம் நான் உன்னை அடைவேன், எவ்விடம் நான் உன்னை அடைவேன், அனுதினம் உன்னை துதிப்பேன். ஓம் பிரபஞ்சத்தின் அதிபதியே. அறிந்தவர் துன்பங்கள் தீர்ப்பார், உந்தன் பக்தர்க்கு அருளிடுவார், உந்தன் பக்தர்க்கு அருளிடுவார். அன்பு கரங்கள் கொண்டு அணைப்பார், அன்பு கரங்கள் கொண்டு அணைப்பார், பயங்கரை போக்கிடுவார். ஓம் பிரபஞ்சத்தின் அதிபதியே. உலக ஆசைகளை அறுப்பார், எங்கள் பாவங்களை களைவார், எங்கள் பாவங்களை களைவார். முயற்சியும் பக்தியும் அருள்வாய், முயற்சியும் பக்தியும் அருள்வாய், நம்பிக்கையை விதைப்பார். ஓம் பிரபஞ்சத்தின் அதிபதியே. ஓம் பிரபஞ்சத்தின் அழைத்தவனே, சுவாமி பிரபஞ்சத்தின் அதிபதியே. உமது பக்தர்களின் துயரங்கள், உமது அடியவரின் துன்பங்கள் நொடிதனில் நீக்கிடுவார். ஓம் பிரபஞ்சத்தின் அதிபதியே. ஓம் பிரபஞ்சத்தின் அதிபதியே. ஓம் பிரபஞ்சத்தின் அதிபதியே.
Thank you friends for the informative talk show and the melodious music. Thank you once again all for the golden opportunity given to us. Namaste.
Thank you very much, students, for the wonderful bhajan and talk show that you presented here. It was quite informative. and quite melodious by the end. So moving forward, we will have a 10-minute meditation session by Shraddhaji.
वेदाहमेकं पुरुषं महान्तम् आदित्यवर्णं तमसः परस्तात् तमेव विदित्वा मृत्युमेति न अन्यपन्था विद्यते यनाय. Respected audience present over here today, at the outset, we had a nice meditation session now. For those who followed it properly, it was a very calming experience. So thank you, Acharya, for that. And also, I think a very nice program by the students of boys in Mogappair. It's nice to see the 11th and the 12th, also 12th, right? So 12th, right, so here today. And they led us through how many shlokas? 9 shlokas, right? So 9 wonderful shlokas. Each shloka, if you look at it, is so enriching and has so much of depth, right, in terms of key learnings in life. I will request you to just go to the Karma Nivadika section. So possibly of these 9 shlokas, this must be the most known one, right, of these 9, right? So let me just take this particular shloka, right, and also think about this particular shloka in the context of a recent tragedy. Yeah, what is the recent most tragedy? Big one. The air crash in Ahmedabad. Right? A deeply saddening moment for the country. Right? The accidents do keep happening, but this one, the scale, the magnitude, right, of this particular, crash, kind of, makes us wonder, right, as to what is life. Also leads us to some key questions, right, as to why did it happen to them, right? What was their fault? Is this a follow of their actions, karma, right? What happened to those students, right, when the building crashed, right? 252 on board, additional at least 20, 30 have died there also, plus so many have been injured. And what about that lucky one on seat 11A, right? Mr. Ramesh. What about him? So how do you interpret, right, his being saved? These are all questions that I'm sure gravels our minds. Yeah. So let's go back to the Shastras and understand, right, as to how do you interpret some of these incidents, right, and the relevance of it in our lives. So let's go back to the shloka first, which says, Karmanyavadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phale heturbhur ma te sankutsva karma. Right? Essentially, shloka, it reiterates the aspect that you need to do your karma and don't believe in and don't expect the phala. That's a simple one. The second line, which is relatively less known, has a very deep meaning in it. It basically says that don't think that inaction is the way to go. Because the last one says sankotsva akarmani. Akarmani means inaction. Right? So if you start thinking that okay, now no longer we should take a flight, is that possible? No, right? The world will still go on. Right? We cannot say that I will no longer take a flight, I will no longer go to a hostel because this flight crashed on a hostel. I will no longer become a pilot, right? Because there's a risk of flight crashes, right? We don't really look at it from that perspective. The karma still goes on and on and on. So coming back to this particular accident, what was this? The Shastras say that every action has 3 aspects to it. How many aspects? 3 aspects to it. One is called the consequence of the action. What is it called? Consequence of the action. The other is the result of the action. And the third is effect of the action. So use the terms in Sanskrit, it will say there is a parinam. Parinam is what? Consequence. There is a phala, which is the result. So here it says phala, it means the result. And the third is prabhav, which means the effect. I'm just using the English terminologies. So parinam, prabhav, parinam, phal and prabhav. Consequence, result and effect. Right? What's the consequence of an action? A young child takes a knife, takes a small knife and cuts his finger. Right? And it starts bleeding. What is that? It is a consequence. It's a consequence of his action. It cannot be said the result of his action. It is not such a great crime he has committed that the result of his action should be that his hand should be cut and it should bleed. That is not, it is not that. Is it a great crime? No, right? Right? But he has a lot of pain, he has maybe some stitches as well. Right? It is not the result of his action. It is only a consequence of his action. Right? He will also have, because he cut his hand, he will have an effect of the action also. What is that? Some fear. He'll have some fear. Right? So next time, he will be careful. He will know that no, this is not the right thing for me to do. Right? He'll have some fear for some time. What is that? That is called the prabhav or the effect of the particular action which the child did. This phala of this result of phala as we speak is not really relevant for a very young child, isn't it? The child does not know what is right or wrong. Right? An animal grazes into someone else's field. An animal grazes into someone else's field. Should there be a phala of that action? Phala, result of that action? The answer is no. Why? The animal does not know right or wrong. Animal does not know that this is my master's field and this is this field I should not be going. So the concept of phala, we first need to understand, is applicable for human beings, right? Once we have a certain level of understanding, right? A consequence and effect is for everyone. Even for an animal, right? It goes to someone else's field, you hit the animal multiple times, it will have fear, isn't it? It will not go next time, right? So, consequence, effect and result are three key aspects. Result is applicable only for human beings once we have a certain level of understanding. It is not relevant for a toddler. You got this perspective first? So now, if you now interpret this particular accident, right? Something obviously mechanically went wrong. Someone obviously did not do some final checks, right? Something went wrong, isn't it? Now, this is a consequence of that action. Maybe Boeing did not get its mechanical things right. Maybe there was a whistleblower 1 year back who mentioned that there are serious issues with the Boeing aircraft. We don't know what the current issue is, so let's not get into that. But somewhere, someone, right, did not perform that level of diligence, that level of duty, right, that led to this particular crash. Right? But how many people are affected? This 275 odd people were killed, many were injured, and some remain completely safe. If this accident happened at 2 o'clock, I guess the the number of students in the hostel would have been much higher. Right? So possibly some of them just escaped death. One or two may have missed their flight. One or two may have cancelled their program the last minute. Right? None of this can be ascribed as follow of their action. It is not that they did some bad deed because of which they were killed. It's a wrong way to think about it. And one cannot say that this Vishwas Kumar Ramesh was a great, very, very nice person that he alone got saved. Right? These all the Shastras say is about coincidences. It's about coincidences. Right? Wrong place, wrong time. Too bad. Right? But then you must be wondering, life is gone. Life is gone. Right? Some of them are injured, handicapped for life. I'm sure some students must be handicapped for life. Right? Great injustice done to them. Then where is Ishwar? Isn't it? That's a question that will definitely rise. Right? Where is the supreme force? Where is justice for them? Someone did some mistake, right, in terms of not doing the proper checks. Right? And who's suffering? All these people. Right? So how do you interpret this? So my dear audience, the Shastras say that first of all, we cannot start thinking that phala of this action is given only in this birth. We first have to believe that there is a concept of rebirth. We tend to see life only with a limited perspective of this birth. We are unable to think about our future birth or our past births. But life has to be seen in a continuum. Why are we not able to see life beyond this one? Because the Shastras say we are like a frog in the well. For the frog, what is it? The well is the world. For us, this particular life is the world. So here we obviously have a great sense of injustice. Right? As to these, so many people were killed, their families have been ruined. The answer is yes, that's true. Right? But how do we interpret this? How do we interpret the Shastras over here? Right? So this is what the Shastras will say, and the Shastras will say that the phala of our actions, the result of our actions, I'm leaving the consequence and the prabha. Right? Consequence is clear, it's pretty immediate. Prabha means the effect. What it basically means is, let me first cover that. Prabha essentially over here means this person on seat number 11A, do you think he'll be able to lead a normal life? For many, many months or for years? Not really. There's another passenger on seat 11A who survived a Thailand aircraft crash 27 years back and still had to go through a lot of psychological counseling, still not fully normal. Those students over there, many of them are injured, lost their friends, will they have fear, stress, concerns for many, many years? The answer is yes. That is nothing but prabha. That is nothing but prabha. So we saw the consequence and we saw what is prabha. As far as phala or the result of the actions are concerned, the Shastras say result is given in the form of jati, ayu and bhog. What are three things? Jati, ayu and bhog are the three ways in which phala is given, and this is a continuum. It cannot be thought that it will be given only in this particular birth. It goes on from one birth after the other, right? And this is the broader construct in which you need to see this karma theory from jati, ayu and bhog. I will not get into the detail right now, but very, very short. Jati means the species you are born in. Ayu means, when you say ayu, you will think exact age. If you say exact age, and once again this question will come to there'll be a dissonance. When you say ayu over here, it's the initial quality of your body. It is the initial quality of your body that helps you sustain life. We see children who are deformed, we see children who have multiple diseases right from birth, right? So a lot of those issues happen. So there is a certain quality of initial body that you can then elongate your life or reduce your life based on your habits as well. So Jati, Ayu and Bhog is the kind of families you are born in, right? So these are three ways in which the Supreme Court gives a result of the actions. Now all this is as per Shabda Praman. As per Shabda Praman means what? Told by the Shastras. Does this sound really logical? Does it sound really logical, or you feel okay, sir is saying it's all right, but does it sound logical to you or not really? How many of you are really convinced with this argument? Let's be open about it. Or how many of you feel that no, not really convincing? How many of you feel not convincing? It's fine to. The Shastras always say that you have to debate. You have to debate. Right? You should not accept something just because it is being told. So how many of you are not convinced? One, good. Who else? Two, three. Others are all convinced in the room. Only three of you are not convinced. Only three of you not convinced. You're all convinced. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right? So now, let's once again do a poll and say how many of you are not convinced. Just raise your hands. Raise your hands. Good, yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. It's about conviction, right? Not convinced. Yeah? So, I will urge you to think about an alternative way to explain it. An alternative way to explain it. Because that is where even I stand. That is where even I stand. On the face of it, right, it sounds like so much of death, so much of misery, so much of devastation. And as I see news alert, I think one more helicopter has also crashed today. Right? So many accidents happen. You have stampede that happened in Bangalore. Right? You have so many things happening all the time. Right? So, even when I was learning the Shastras, forward breath, right? So, all this keeps happening all the time. What's going to happen, right? So, but I could not find a compelling alternative. Right? Across multiple faiths, multiple religions, multiple aspects, I could not think of a compelling alternative to this theory which is there in the Shastras. Right? And that's where I felt personally that if there is no compelling alternative theory, then this particular way of thinking gives the most peace of mind. Gives the most peace of mind. It's true, we haven't seen next birth. Right? We don't know whether birth was there or not. We cannot be 100%. Can I be 100% sure about it? The answer is no. But there is no alternative theory. And this way of interpreting disasters like these, challenges like these can only give us good peace of mind, but it is definitely backed by the Shastras. It is backed by the Shastras. So I'll stop here. If you have other questions, I can take it, otherwise we'll end the session. Any questions? Based on what we discussed? Anyone wants to come to alternative theory? Any alternative theory? Or thoughts to explain? Go ahead.
So you said that the people who died on the plane crash, because based on the consequence of the one who didn't check the plane, right? So imagine there was a baby in that plane who didn't know what was right or wrong. So what would you explain about that baby?
Explain about that baby?
Explain about the baby's death. Like why did it affect that baby instead of affecting that person?
So the way I would look at it is that absolutely no fault of his, right? And it's a coincidence. There were multiple children also there. There was one doctor family, right? Doctor family with 3 kids, right? So they were like all young ones. They had a selfie they took just before the plane took off, right? So obviously no fault of theirs at all. No fault of the doctor parents either. So all this coincidence that happened that they were at the wrong place, the wrong time. but it cannot be attributed to a follow of their action or a result of their action. One cannot say that all they did a lot of bad deeds and this is the result of their action. Because if you start interpreting this is a result of their action, then you cannot even punish the person who really did the wrong thing. Because in a way he has been instrumental in giving the follow of this action that Ishwar wanted. Becomes difficult to interpret. So for baby as well, the same logic applies. Wrong place, wrong time, coincidence. There is injustice done because of someone else's actions, which will get fulfilled through Jati, Ayu and Bhog in the next time. Anyway, anything else you want to?
And about rebirth, you mentioned rebirth. So why should necessarily be rebirth? So just another life coming in the world and leaving the world.
No, but see, this is as per the. It's just the way it happens. So rebirth, that's the way this whole world is drawn. And if you, I'm sure you have come across multiple cases in this world, and there is indeed one Peter Drucker, right, an American psychologist who has documented n number of cases wherein some children, for the first 2 years of their life, they have some memories of their previous birth, right? So which basically proves that rebirth exists, right? By Pratyaksh Praman, by the way we look at some of the stories. Even recently, about a few years back, there was a case in Lucknow, somewhere in Uttar Pradesh, wherein the child, right, he basically died swimming in a canal. He got drowned in a small canal, right? And about 5-6 years later, right, in some other village, right, a child was born, and after like 3-4-5 years, he started talking about his previous village, right? And he really wanted to go there. Parents wanted to avoid it first because it obviously creates complications, right? But then he was really keen to go there, right? And finally took him over there, and they realized that what all he was saying, exactly what happened a few years back on that particular day, was narrated as it is. That's a very famous case of a child, right? You can also Google it out. I don't remember the name. I think James Leninger, if I'm not wrong, right? So this boy was born, and I think somewhere in 1990s, and this case has been extremely well documented by some of the American psychologists. So this guy was born, and he started talking about that he being a pilot and being killed in World War II, right? And he had clear memories of which aircraft he was piloting on that particular day, right? I don't know the name of the aircraft type, and it was a Japanese, Japan-US had a war, and how it was Japanese fire that struck his aircraft, and how he was remembering as to how the last final moments of fear, right? And he died, right? So there have been multiple such cases we Google out. So rebirth definitely exists, whether we like it or not. That's the way the world is designed.
Why is it that those people are the only ones who have the memories of their past? Why don't we have it?
Good question. So first of all, why is it that only
Why is it only
very exceptions? Not that everyone has the past memories. So see, first aspect is one thing you agree. If all of us start having past memories, life will become hell, isn't it? We're not unable to manage memories of this birth itself, right? Memories of past birth means life will be hell, right? Now, why do some children, they have it only for a few years, but then it fades away. It then completely fades away, right? So why are those memories really there for some of them? Unable to explain fully, right? But it is definitely there. Sometimes you think about it, you have babies, right? Suddenly you will see them smiling. You will suddenly see them smiling. Suddenly they will cry. Not that there's a certain specific thing. We presume, again, it is I cannot say for, no one can say for 100% sure, but our psychologists also do mention that it could be, right? Some memories of previous birth. But to explain the broader concept, because some of these things happen, which is mentioned the case in UP, I mentioned about this particular case, broadly by Anuman Praman. Anuman means by estimation, we can estimate that is the rebirth. Okay? So thank you so much. We'll have that conversation.
Thank you so much, Vikas ji.